What's going on, everybody? It's the Toxic God. Now, I just want to do a quick little rundown on all of the classes that I have, because they kind of they vary from situation to situation. I wanted to go over the classes that I have, the guns that I use, the attachments that I use, and why. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So for the first gun that I have here, it's gonna be the M4. Right here, I just have like all the names so that whenever I'm in game, I really don't have to like search and look through which one. I could just look on the side and see which ones are right there. So I have the M4 right here. Have Monolithic, the Corvus, which I'm in debate about between the M16 Grenadier, this right here, and the Corvus. But I just threw the Corvus on just right now because I take some time going through my classes and making sure which attachments are ready. So I have the Monolithic, the Corvus, the Tac Laser, the Ranger, and the 60 round mag, because the standard for Warzone is 60 round mag, because usually like you need those extra bullets if you're doing trios, squads, or whatever. So usually my main laser is the Tac Laser. If it's not a SMG, then I'll use the I'm sorry, if it is a SMG, I'll use the 5 milliwatt. But for all like ARs and everything else, I'll use the Tac Laser. Rear grips, I have been told that rear grips are more beneficial than the laser, but I mean, I'd rather just use the laser in my opinion. I think the laser is better in my opinion. For my sniper, this is gonna be like the main setup for the snipers that I have. So I have like 3 snipers for the top 3 classes, and then I have presence of mind at the bottom so that I can like hold my breath a lot longer. I use the combat optic. A lot of people like they ask me why. They tell me to use like the variable. They tell me to use the variable sight more, but I just don't like people seeing my glint. It's like more of a surprise factor, and once you start using the scout optic, and once you start using the scout combat optic more, then you'll start to see how much of a surprise that you have on other people when you're sniping. Because usually, whenever people see the sniper, they're like, "Oh shit!" They'll see the glint. They're like, "Oh, let's get down, move around." But when you have the combat optic, they don't see the glint, so they don't know that you're sniping, which is very beneficial in my opinion. So I have the Tac Laser here just as a little bit of just like a little bit of like if I see the spot that I'm aiming at, which you can see through your sights, your optics, then the laser will help out. And then I have the factory barrel, the longest barrel. Helps with all that right there: damage, bullet velocity, and recoil. Of course, Monolithic, you need a suppressor in Warzone. And then I have presence of mind right there. That's my first class. My second class is my Galil. This is my heavy hitter right here. So these are all the attachments that I have. I was unable to put a laser because I need the barrel. I need the VOK. 40 round mags is necessary. The Ranger foregrip is necessary. Of course, the suppressor is necessary. So I have to, just maximize on range as much as possible. And I wasn't able to fit the Tac Laser in there. But like I said, with my snipers, it's pretty much like the basis of all my sniping attachments. This is it. This is pretty much it. Sometimes I'll switch between focus and presence of mind, but I feel like with focus, I would use that more on a car. Because you're able to like ADS faster. You're able to just move a lot quicker with the car as opposed to a sniper where you need to like hold steady shots. With my AN, I had just made this class right here, and so far I'm actually digging it. I think that the AN is really a surprisingly accurate gun, and it holds as much damage value as a Galil. So I think the AN might have, well, actually, it doesn't might, but it has a lot more accuracy than the Galil, and it hits a little bit, if not a little bit under, it hits just as hard as the Galil. So I started primarily using this for the majority of the time, but I made a sniper class with this so that I can like kind of test out and see which one I'd rather have. If I just should keep my AN as like a AR SMG class or a AR and a sniper class. So I had just made this class. So whenever I get into Warzone, I'll be streaming later. Whenever I get into Warzone, then we'll test it out. I have my Kilo class. The reason why I have a Kilo right here, I'm not a big fan of the Kilo personally, but with the meta changing and whatnot, I decided to make a Kilo class with the Striking Tiger variant and the Sleeping Dragon. Of course, they matched, which is why I had to do it. So for my Kilo, in order to have a tac laser, in order to make it more accurate, I don't really like the iron sights for the Kilo, which is why I put a tac laser on there. And the VOK is because whenever I'm aiming down sights, I feel like the Kilo iron sight is a little bit too small, so that the tac laser will help me out in terms of accuracy. And with the Whisper, it already has a suppression system on it, so that, you know, I don't have to use another attachment and take off the tac laser. So this is what my class looks like for the Kilo. Of course, if I need to, I'll go ahead and like switch these out and put like the 19.8 Prowler on there, and then put monolithic suppressor. But, and also, you know, I did it for the aesthetic, so we'll just see how it goes later in Warzone. And then of course I have an Origin class. Have the muzzle choke, I have the barrel, the forge tack, I have the the 5 milliwatt laser, so that, you know, of course, like the hip fire accuracy is a lot better. Commando foregrip, and then the 25 round mags, just in case I don't have time to reload. That's that class. And let me talk about perks real quick. So the basis for the perks is pretty much EOD, Overkill, and Amped. That's the standard for Warzone. I mean, you could switch out EOD with Cold-Blooded or Kill Chain in the beginning before you get your Ghost class. But EOD just works better because a lot of people carry C4s. A lot of people carry like frags or anything, and that it really helps out. EOD really helps out. Overkill, standard, unless you have a Ghost. And then Amped, to me, it's the standard for me, so I can switch back and forth between my guns faster. But you could swap that out with maybe Tracker or Battle Harden, but people really don't. If they do use flashes, I mean, this is more of like a situational. Excuse me. Yeah, Battle Harden is more like a situational perk. Sometimes you might not need to use it because a lot of people in that game don't carry flashes or stuns, but then you'd rather have Amp because it's more beneficial in that situation. So it's really either or. C4 standard, heartbeat sensor standard, snapshot grenades. I see a lot of people use those, which to me, it really doesn't feel like it carries much weight, because whenever you throw the snapshot grenade, it can capture people from up or down, but it depends on where you throw it at. So it's really either or, and you can find some as loot weapons or loot grenades. So it's not really worth it to use it. Stems are worth, I would say pretty much for the first storm. So the first storm moves hella fast, and so if you have those stems, then you can go ahead and, you know, use those stems to get out of the storm. It's pretty much how it works. Of course, stuns, flashes, y'all know why it's there. The Odin and the MP5. So I get a lot of controversy with this class because people think that the Odin isn't really good, which I drop almost 20 bombs with the Odin itself. All you gotta do is have really good positioning with the Odin, and you'll be alright. This is my Odin class right here. A lot of people don't like the Odin because of its recoil, but I personally love the Odin. So I have a Colossus suppressor right here because it tremendously boosts the range and accuracy. I have the Odin Factory 810 millimeter for like the damage range, of course, like for the range and accuracy. I have that. Tac laser, of course, to help with my aim. I have the VOK optic, and I have the commando so that it kind of really doesn't notch down my ADS speed. Of course, I would swap it out with like a ranger or something. The values do increase, but with commando, it doesn't really notch down that aim down sight speed, and Odin kind of already has a really slow aim down sight speed. Ammunition, I swap between taking off the tac laser and the ammunition, but I personally found having the tac laser is more beneficial than having 25 round mags or 30 round mags, because you can easily like sit up and mount, which is the key with using the Odin, is mounting. But I found that, you know, if I use just 20 bullets and then just reload, it's really not, it really helps out with certain situations. Of course, like you could say that for all the round mags, but I personally found that using 20 bullets in a certain situation is more than enough to get me out of situations that are pretty sticky. So I'll just stick with the regular ammunition. No stocks, no perks, no rear grips, no ammunition. And then I have my MP5. This is pretty much my static MP5 attachments. So really, I'll kind of switch. You'll see later on in my classes down there. I'll switch between stippled grip tape and I believe sleight of hand. Yeah, it might be sleight of hand. But I have the monolithic integral suppressor, standard, 5 milliwatt laser, standard for hip fire, commando foregrip, doesn't mess with my ADS, 45 round mags, which is of course the standard for MP5, and then the stipple grip tape, which you could substitute that with maybe a perk, sleight of hand, fully loaded just in case, or a stock. Some people like the collapsible stock to move faster. It's your preference. Of course, another AN class, like I said, it's going to be the same attachments for the AN, except I have the Fennec, which I most recently created a class for, leveled it up off stream grind, and it's actually not a bad weapon. I feel like the only gun that will outgun a Fennec is definitely an Origin, but maybe an MP5, maybe, because it has a little bit more damage. But the MP5 is a shredder, the Fennec is a shredder, so I just decided to make a class with the Fennec and the AN as like a new gun sort of class, and it's actually a pretty decent class. For my PKM, I have monolithic suppressor, 25.9 heavy barrel. You could opt for the 26.9, but I only did this for aesthetics because it just goes with my variant. I don't have the lasers unlocked. I don't have the tac lasers, which I would put instead of a stock. But since I don't have that unlocked, I have the stock on there, which helps with aiming stability. Of course, I have the VLK. I have the commando foregrip instead of like the Merc for aim down sight speeds. And then that's it. I don't have the 150 round belt, which would sometimes be necessary, but I feel like 100 rounds is more than enough. And then I have no rear grip. I have no perk either, which I would have sleight of hand, but I just don't have it unlocked. Of course, the standard MP5 setup. There you go. My fully loaded class, I feel like it's really necessary to have a fully loaded class just in case like you're in the last storm or where it drops in the 4th round and you don't have any ammo, like you haven't looted anything, you're just coming back from the gulag, and you can drop down on your fully loaded class to where you don't have to pick up ammo, like you're ready to go. So for my fully loaded class, of course the perk is fully loaded. I have 60 round ammunition. I have underbarrel as my Ranger foregrip. I have my barrel as the 26.4 Archangel, which is absolutely necessary for a Growl class, and of course a monolithic suppressor, which is absolutely necessary for Warzone. And of course, the standard MP5. The only thing that changes is the fully loaded perk, of course. Okay, I have my ghost class just in case I don't like my secondary, or just in case I feel like if I were to pick like a sniping class, if I don't need my sniper at that time, or if I feel like the game is not really snipe dependent, then I'll go ahead and opt for my MP5 for my ghost class. And then I have a ghost sniping class just in case for the same situation, vice versa. If I feel like the match is snipe dependent, then I'll opt for my ghost sniping class. And that's pretty much it. If there's anything else that you need for me, like information that you need or anything like that, I'm here. I'm available. Just send me a quick PM or anything like that. These are my stats for everybody who wants to know. These are my wins. So I appreciate you clicking on my page, clicking on this video. Appreciate the time you're spending. For people who actually need like class recommendations, some people might not need it. A lot of people ask me what guns do I use for my class, so I'm willing to dedicate this video to y'all. So hopefully it helps. I hope everybody has a damn good one, and I'll see you on the Warzone.